Hello, and welcome back to another Minecraft Let's Play video with me, Elven Dragon. So last episode, we went and bred up all of these cows in this room here for the sole purpose of getting this cow right here in the center, which produces Molten Infinity. And we've managed to gather up a fair bit of it, despite the 4-hour-long timer between buckets. But what I think we're going to do today is we're going to actually make a decorative area in this cave. So most of our caves here have been just these pretty plain stone walls, very square, and not very detailed, well, except for this one side, but it takes quite a while for these limestone and marble seeds to grow up to producing essence. So what I think we're going to do for the decorative build is we are going to build a garden. We'll put a few trees in it, and I think we have some shining mushrooms downstairs from Botania. So we might as well do something with that. I believe there's some materials that we can't get otherwise. And it might be nice to be able to use those. So let's craft ourselves a guide. Guidebook, which is a sapling and a book. Let's take a look in here. All right. So we just have the basic how to use this guide. So let's take a look at the starting pages. So what I think we're going to set out to do is work with these mystical flowers, which we're going to need to get to craft some stuff. And I think one of our end goals is going to be to get some Terraced Steel, which if I remember correctly, we can grow, yes! So once we actually get some, we can turn it into seeds and then we can get more. This guide's not as helpful as I would have thought it would have been. Fortunately, I've done some stuff with Botania before, so I know roughly how it starts. But I'm going to flip through this to refresh my memory. But the first thing we need to get started is a cave to put all this stuff in. And there we go, one basic undecorated cave. Alright, so what I want to do is I want 3 blocks out from the edge here as a little path. Put pillars on the 4th block, and that will end up supporting a balcony. We'll just have these as stone bricks for now. Oh hey, I can change it to mossy? Cool. I will have to play with tile designs here, and we may end up having various different designs for various parts of this area. But for now, let's just mark out the actual central garden part. And then we need to dig this down a block so that we can put in our dirt, get some of that filled in, so that hopefully we can get our grass growing. Let's get that started. Now, I think in the middle of this area, I want to put a fountain, which means we actually have to find the middle, which this shouldn't be that hard to calculate, but I'm a little lazy right now, so we're just going to mine to find where it is. Okay, so that torch is actually right on the center, which is perfect for us. So I'm going to go get the rest of this dug out and set up to be grassed. And then I think we're going to actually start with some Botania stuff. Alright, so we have finished grassing in this area. I still have not built up the fountain. I want to wait a little bit to do that, because I think I'm going to want to raise the ceiling eventually. But I've done a little bit more reading up on the guidebook. And it looks like our first thing is to make this Petal Apothecary. So let's put one of our extra mushrooms in there and grab that. And if we place that down inside here, let's see, fountain's probably going to go to about here. And we need to fill that with some water. Fortunately, we have our cows in here, so it's very easy to do. And I don't have to go all the way downstairs and use the infinite water source down in our original room, which I'm thinking in the walls here we might put our storage system. Basically not get rid of the one we have downstairs, but bring it up here. But we will deal with that later. So now that we have water in the Petal Apothecary, we need 4 white petals or mushrooms to craft a pure daisy to get started. But I don't have 4 white mushrooms because there's no flowers around here. So we need, for one thing, a bowl we will use to make a mortar and pestle, which we will need later to grind flowers into dust. Then we need bone meal and a couple pieces of red dye and yellow dye. And that will get us a few floral fertilizers. And if we apply that in here, should get some flowers. Doesn't look like we got any white though. Alright, no luck on the white, but we did get a wide variety of other colors. So let's go and gather these up. And we can turn these into usable flowers using the mortar and pedestal. So first we need to turn these into petals and then grind them with the mortar and pedestal. And then we can take the floral dust that produces, combine that with some bone meal, and make more floral fertilizer. So it may take a little bit to get some of the white flowers. So I'm going to go keep trying, and then I'll be back once we have some. Alright, so we've got our 2 white flowers. So now all we need to do is turn those into petals, toss those into there, and we need seeds. Because of course I don't have any on me. Alright, so that gets us our pure daisy. So now we just need to find a good place to plant it so we can get some of the materials that we need to continue. I think we need a bit more space than what is there. So let's move that. I think over here will be good. So now if we get some wood and some stone, we can put those around it, and that will convert that to living wood and living rock, which we're going to need for the next step of the progress tree. Alright, so I've got some wood and some stone placed around the daisy. So now we just have to wait. So let's look in our book here. We need a Runic Altar eventually to make some runes. But for that, we need something from mana. And in order to store mana, we need a mana pool, which is 5 living rock. So we're going to need a little bit more after this finishes up. So I'm going to gather enough for that. And I'll be back. Alright, so we've got the living rock we need for a mana pool, and no inventory space. So what we need for this is we need to put this down somewhere. I guess right over here will work. Then we need a generating flora to get the mana we need to do just about anything with this mod. And I think I've decided to go with the Endo Flame here. It's pretty simple. We basically just burn stuff to produce mana, which, considering the fact that we have plenty of wood and plenty of coal, should be good. So let's toss the stuff that we need in there. Seems a little weird. We can create flowers by tossing petals in a pool of water, but okay. And there we go. So now if we go put that down by our mana pool, now we'll just toss some coal to fuel off of. And eventually that should pick it up and burn it, I think. I believe we need a mana spreader for the next bit. So basically what this will do is it'll take the mana from our flower and put it into the mana pool. Alright, so it's taken it long enough, but our Endo Flame has finally taken up the coal block. Looks like, according to this, we need a mana spreader. So let's get one put in here, so we can get the mana transferring out of that and into the pool. Since we have the Wand of the Forest, we can see if this is actually working properly. That needs to be pointing the other direction. There we go. Got that filling up now. So that's going to take a while to fill up. So while we wait for that to fill up, I'm going to go build a balcony around this room and get some storage built up, and then I will be right back. Alright, so I've gotten the storage system halfway in. I still have this wall and most of this side here to do, but I've gotten it so that we can basically put items in and it'll fill up. Now the way I've done that is I've used controller slaves, which basically will extend the range of our drawer controller, or at least that's how I understand it from what I read in the JEI. So there's one of those in each of the corners, but those aren't quite enough to make it wrap all the way around as is. So thinking what we're going to do is we will hide one up on the top behind the walkway, and that should allow us to reach farther in the storage system, because right now we can only get to about osmium for putting stuff in. So if we go and stick this right above that crate, we should be able to reach 12 blocks farther. Now I think what we'll do is we'll probably put more storage up here, and what we'll do is we'll wrap the cloaks along the right side here, which we need to figure out a good block palette. I'm thinking something black to go with the blue, but we'll figure that out later. Before I forget, let's get the fountain here marked out, at least with the base, and I think I'm going to go with this living rock. The other option was some shimmer rock that I saw, but I think the color changing might be a little too much for what we want here. So that's going to be our fountain basin, and we'll have a small little thing in the center, water flowing down. Might change these slabs, but now that we have that in, I think I can put in a couple mineral saplings in here, because I kind of like how the leaves look, and I think that they will help make this area feel a little bit more natural and less just like a giant pad of grass in the middle of a very large cave. So I'm going to go finish getting the library storage set up and probably get some of the garden cloaks in and figure out the power and water system that we need for that. And then I will be right back. Alright, so our library here works pretty well except for one small problem. Namely, anything past about this point here doesn't fill in automatically, and that is because I apparently do not understand how these controller slaves work. I thought that they extended the range of the drawer controller, and apparently that's not what they do. They just add another input. So we need to tear most of this back down, and what I think we're going to do is we're going to put another library section over on this side here out of compacting drawers, which should allow us to store all of that metal, and it will also allow us to store all of our nuggets, ingots, and blocks all in one place. So it's not going to be the amazing wall of resources that I was envisioning, but at least this time it should work. But we're gonna wait on that. I think this should have enough mana for doing a little bit of stuff. So looking in here, getting a portal to Alfheim, which is what I think we're going to go for as the end goal. We need glimmering living wood blocks, which is just living wood with some glowstone. It's not too difficult. Elven gateway core and 2 Natura pylons. So the trouble with the gateway core is we need these Terraced Steel nuggets, and we have no Terraced Steel at all. We also need them for these Natura pylons. So let's look more specifically at what we need to generate some Terraced Steel, so we can make that. Requires a Terraced Steel agglomeration plate and a checkerboard of lapis lazuli and living rock. Mana needs to be provided, with sparks being the most efficient method. So we'll have to look at these sparks. And we need runes, which we don't have yet, and a block of mana steel. So runes, we need an altar, which is living rock, and either a mana diamond or a mana pearl. Alright, to get our mana pearl, we just need to drop that into the mana pool. And then if we go grab our living rock, we can turn that into the altar. And there we go. So let's go and put this down. I believe I need another mana spreader, it said, to transfer the mana from the pool to the altar. So let's put that in line with the pool. I guess here. And now all we need is the second mana spreader. Alright, so now that that's in, we should be able to take mana and send it to the altar. And I've gotten some of the basics we need for rune creation. So the Rune of Mana, we need the mana pearl and 5 pieces of mana steel. So now that is charging up. And then if I read correctly, once that's fully charged, we just need to click it with a living stone block, and we should get the rune. There's the living stone. And if we click on that with the wand, there's one of the runes that we need for the amalgamation plate. Now for the rest of these runes, we need an mana steel ingot and mana powder, all of them. You need string, feather, carpet, mushroom, coal, and stone. I don't know if I've got the mushroom. Netherwort, gunpowder, and nether brick. Might have to check on the nether brick. And a fishing rod, sugar cane, and bone meal. So we have just about all the things for the earth rune on us right now. We have the stone in our inventory here, and we have blocks of coal in our storage system. So all we're missing is the mushroom. Alright, so I've gotten the rest of what I need for the rest of the runes. So I'm gonna stand here and wait for those to charge up and craft, and then I'll be right back. Alright, so I have gotten all of the runes that we need to make the Terraced Steel aggregation plate, as well as the structure that we need to put it on, and the 2 sparks that we need to connect it to the mana pool. So let's get that crafted up. Alright, so now that we have that crafted, we can go and stick it on this structure right here that I built up. We can stick it on the structure over here that I built up, and put the sparks on top of that, and on top of the pool. Make sure that those are connected. Yep. Now, in order to make this Terraced Steel, we need to take a mana diamond, a mana steel, and a mana pearl, and toss it on top of the plate. And if we have enough mana in the pool, it should make it into a Terraced Steel, hopefully. So we can't pick those up while that is aggregating, otherwise it'll mess up and we'll lose all the mana, which we're already out of. So let's toss some coal to our ender flame. So hopefully that'll produce enough. Yeah, this is probably going to take a while. So while we wait, let's go and get some more garden cloaks. That way we can grow some more mystical agriculture products. So let's take a quick look at what we need. So we need some glass. That's easy enough. Treated wood planks. I don't know how we get those, really. Iron mechanical component and a vacuum tube. Okay, so that we can just craft. There's this engineer's workshop. And the vacuum tube we need the workshop for. So that's nickel, glass, copper wire, which is copper plate and shears. Okay, that's easy. Or we could just do an ingot in there. And I don't know how to craft meta press. And it's not showing me how. But that looks pretty simple enough. So let's see, we need an engineer's blueprint, which looks like it gets the iron mechanical component too. That is nice and easy. So we can craft that for cheaper. And that's just paper, gunpowder, some copper, and lapis. Let's see if we can find the right one here. There it is. So 4 lapis, a copper, a gunpowder, and 3 paper. It's not too bad. And treated wood planks, treated wood fence, which is treated wood. How do we get that? Planks around a creosote oil bucket, which if I remember correctly is produced from our coal coke oven, and we have quite a bit of that. So I think we're gonna put the workshop over here. And we really need to do some decorating down here. I've got some seared stone smelting down. So I think I want to put a thing of seared stone in here and maybe a dark wood just for the decoration. But we have plenty of oil here. So let's go and get a few things of treated wood crafted up for us to use. All right, so now that we have everything for the workbench, let's get that crafted. Oh, apparently we can't use the stone crafting table for that. Guess we need to go make a wood one. Alright, so now that we have that, we can make our workbench. And let's go put that, I guess, in the corner. We don't really have much space in that little cave. And it's kind of difficult to expand that out with the pipes on 2 sides. So let's see, I guess there. So now we need to put the blueprint in there. So let's go run up and grab the sugarcane for that, as well as a bunch of the metal that we're going to need for the vacuum tubes and the iron mechanical part. While we're up here, let's check on that Terraced Steel, which looks like we've lost all of the items and we took too long to get back up here. Oh well, I don't think we had enough mana in there to make it anyway, so I will have to go and get a whole bunch more mana. Don't think that End of Flame is going to cut it, but we will sort that out later. For now, let's just get the materials for the garden cloaks and get those all crafted up. Alright, so I've got all the plates hammered out for all of the parts that we need. And all of the wire cut. So let's put the mechanical pieces together. So there's the first one. And now we just need to get the glass. Oh, we forgot to hammer out the nickel plates. So we just need to turn those into ingots. And once they are ingots, so we just need to put those in the crafting grid with the engineer's hammers. And that'll turn them into plates. But now we can craft up these vacuum tubes. But that is more of those than I was expecting. Oh, so now we just need to get some more glass. And we will have a bunch more garden cloaks. So I'm going to go get those and get those set up. And then I will be right back. Alright, so I've gone and gotten all of the garden cloaks that we had crafted in. Now I've left some of them empty for right now because I haven't quite crafted the materials that we want to put in them. I have gone and gotten all of our tier 5 seeds in. So diamonds, emeralds, and uranium, as well as ardite and cobalt, because we don't really have an easy way of getting more of that, other than saving netherrack. I also got the rest of our stones in, some mana steel, that way we can get that much more easily, and the mystical flower here, which will allow us to grow mystical flowers and get the specific colors that we need rather than having to try and bone meal this to get what we need. Now unfortunately I forgot that existed when I made this Rosa Arcana, and what that is doing is that is taking experience and that's turning it into mana. Now I've got a setup over in our little closet here that allows me to get basically infinite experience. Every time we use this, we get about 42 levels, as well as taking our Essence of Knowledge cow, putting it through this Fluid Dictionary Converter, which is converting Essence of Knowledge to Liquid XP, flowing into this tank, and then we just turn this nozzle, and we get all the experience that we have stored in there. So I'm going to take this experience and fill up our mana pool with it, to the point where we can actually make a Terraced Steel ingot, and then I will be right back. Alright, so I've gone and filled up the mana pool to halfway. Reading back into the book, that looks to be about what we need to make the Terraced Steel. So let's get our items and toss them onto the plate and get this process started. And apparently we keep picking them back up. Can I please just toss 3 things onto a plate and not have them jump back into my inventory? There we go. Alright, so now that is combining. Looks like it might actually be successful this time. Let's see, how's our mana supply doing? I'd really not like to run out this time. It's already used up about 1/4 of it. We should be getting pretty close to this being done. It seems like the colors are changing towards green. So that's down to about 1/8. And there we go. 1 Terraced Steel ingot. Now we just gotta do that 3 more times so we can get the seeds. And then we will never have to do that again. And that used up just about all of our mana, so I'm gonna go keep feeding this Rosa Arcana. Although, in theory, if we got more of them, that would speed this process up. Well, it's not that hard. We just need pink, purple, and lime, and a Rune of Mana. Which the hardest thing there is the mana pearl. And because I dumped a whole bunch of the ender pearl stuff into my smeltery, we now have a ton of ender pearls. So I think getting another 2 would not be amiss. So I guess I'm gonna go do that, and then I will be right back. Alright, so I have the Terraced Steel seeds, so let's go and plop those in there. So those will slowly grow up. Now we just need the last bit of metal from Botania to stick in there. But while we wait for that to grow up and slowly trickle in, let's add a little bit fancier lighting down here, because I found these lanterns on here. I think I want to pull out some of these feral flare lanterns as well, but that's going to require glowstone. I did go and gather just about all the materials for these lanterns. I don't know whether or not to go with orange or light blue, which apparently we need more light blue flowers. So let's go make some from our magical flower essence. And now with that, we just need to gather and craft up the last bits and pieces, which are circuit panes and a couple gold nuggets and this orange illuminar, which is glowstone dust and some sort of orange dye, which is why we have the mystical flowers, because we can use the floral powder as dyes. Alright, so I went and made one of each color, both regular and inverted. So it looks like the inverted ones will actually give us light. So I will have to figure out what I want to do with the regular ones. I'm going to guess I just have to give them a redstone signal to get them to light, but we also have to figure out what color we want to use for this area. I think I like the light blue with this. Not entirely certain yet. I think I want to replace some of the balcony platform with light blue terracotta and some platinum, just to give it a bit more variation. So the other thing we have to figure out is what we are going to do with the walls above our garden cloaks. I think we might do another layer of basalt placed on the bottom. So let's get a small area here dug out so we can test that. So let's start with the part that we know, which is the basalt right along the top of the garden cloaks. And then what I think we're going to do is, I think we're going to try and use some of the platinum that's been chiseled, but we'll have to figure out what exactly we want with that in terms of what pattern we want to do. Let's get some of that up there and see what works best with the light blue glazed terracotta. So I'm not going to do really much of a pattern right now. Just going to try and get it in to see what works with the colors. Let's see how each of these different patterns looks. I think that bolted one looks kind of nice. The thermal one I think is just gets too dark to go with the light blue glazed terracotta. Which we may just put light blue glazed terracotta up here and mix the platinum in with the bridge here. Which I think might look better. Let's see, let's scatter a few of them in here, and we'll try out different patterns. Yeah, so I think the dark in the platinum definitely complements the mineral planks better than the light blue terracotta. But I think we will put the light blue terracotta along the top there and take out the platinum blocks and mix them into the balcony walkway. I think I like the bolted best, to be honest. Just mix this in along this walkway. I think that'll be good. But before we get into that, I think our Terraced Steel should be good. I think we should only need 8 to transform essences into ingots, and that gives us 2 ingots, which means one can be turned into nuggets for opening the Elvish Gateway, and the other can get put into our storage system for classification. which our ore library here is looking mighty fine right now. I still need to expand it all the way out, because these right here are going to be the final chests for those. So these ones are in the basic drawers because they do not compress at all, and we can make them with our smeltery, and we get quite a bit of this. Although I did go and light up that smeltery so that we stop getting mobs spawning in there for now, because I'm trying to drain it so that I can actually have a better use of it, instead of just having massive amounts of various metals molten inside of it. But that's going to have to wait for later. For now, let's get the materials that we need to make this Elven Portal, and then I will be back when we're ready to get it all set up. Alright, so we've got all the pieces for this Elven Gateway. So let's see, it's 3x3, so let's center it, I guess here. So we need the gateway core in the middle, and then some living wood on each side. Let's build out another block because we're going to have to go up. And then it goes up on the sides. Glimmering living wood in the middle. Put the other living wood on top. That looks to be about as tall as our platform. I guess it'll be fine going up to the level of the fence. So let's build that across and down, and make sure to fill in the corner, since we did that on all the other sides. There is the basic structure. We just need to put the glimmering living wood in on the top and the side. It's the wrong spot. There we go. Now let's see, let's do mana pool here and here. We need Natura pylon there and Natura pylon there. Okay, that looks pretty good. So let's grab a couple of our Rose Arcanas. Let's grab all three so we don't lose our experience here. Then we will take our mana spreaders. Oh, look at that. I seem to have spaced these perfectly. We put that one there, that one there. Move this torch so as to clear the area between the two of them. Then we can link that one to there, link this one to here, and then put those there and there. Let's go put our other one back with our other mana pool before we forget, and never put it back. Now, if we just jump right into the center here, that should start filling up both of them at once. So I'm going to go get these filled enough that we can actually open this portal and gather some stuff I want to send through. Might also work a bit on our walkway as well, get that all decorated up, and then I shall be right back. Alright, so I've charged up these mana pools a little bit, almost about a quarter of the way there. I believe to open this, let's see, let's double check. Fade out, right click with the Wander to the Forest. Okay, so let's open the portal so we can trade. And I believe it said we could toss our guidebook through, and that should give us a upgraded version. Did we not get anything back? Huh, I guess we'll have to get another one, but let's get the rest of our items that we have to trade and convert to their elven forms. Now I know we can toss this through. Let's just toss it into the portal directly. So that gets us Elementium. Then we have some mana diamonds to toss through, some mana pearls, mana glass, living wood, and finally some nether quartz. Alright, so we got everything but our book back, which is a little concerning. Fortunately for us though, getting this book is very simple and easy to do. So let's go and stand in here, toss it through, there we go. Now we have our upgraded guidebook. Elven God. And it looks like this is a message from the elves, basically telling us that we have a link and that we can send resources through and they'll toss them back. It looks like we have a bunch of new things in here that we can now craft, but that is going to have to wait. I have next to no idea what I'm going to do with most of these, but I do know what we're going to do with the Elementium. And that is, we are getting ourselves some Elementium Seeds, so we don't have to keep opening that portal. But with those set up in there, I think that that is going to be it for today's episode. So if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and consider subscribing, and I will catch you all in the next one. Goodbye!